Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Paragon John coming back at you with another video. Appreciate you guys stopping by. You could have clicked any video on the internet, but you chose to click this one. So, guys, I want to talk about this idea that if you're a person who complains that other people are more successful than you are, or you become jealous of other people when they reach success in whatever area they're successful in. If you're a person like that who is jealous of other people and complains, why are they successful and not me, and things like that, while at the same time you have done no work toward anything whatsoever, in my opinion, you cannot complain that other people are more successful than you. It makes no sense logically at all. It makes zero sense to look at another person's life who has done work and a lot of times dedicated years and years and years of their life to pursuing a particular goal, whatever it happens to be, whatever area it happens to be in, and they become successful as a result of the amount of work they've put in, and look at that person and be jealous of them when you yourself have done zero work toward anything of your own. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like there are a lot of people like that in the world who are just, they don't understand the amount of work that it takes to actually achieve something in life in a particular area. It takes years and years and years and thousands of hours of dedication to... Hold on a second, guys. What is this person doing? Okay, go ahead. The light was green for like 10 seconds, guys. Anyways, but yeah, there are a lot of people in the world where it's like they don't do any work on themselves at all. They don't put in any effort into any kind of area or any kind of goal that they might have, or any kind of hobby or something. They don't put any work into something themselves, and as a result, they are not successful in any area at all. They, their life reflects that, and they look at other people who have put in tons of work, tons of hours, dedicated tons of years of their life into particular areas, and as a result of that, they do reach success in those areas, and then they become jealous of that. They become jealous of those people, and they don't seem to understand why. Why is that person successful? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they dedicated years of their life to pursuing that goal that they had. And the person that's jealous of that, well, obviously they didn't do that. So what do you expect? It's like, if you don't do any work toward anything in life, you're not going to reach success, obviously, And for people that do the work, well, they very likely will reach success. That's just that's the nature of life, is you get back what you put in. If you aren't doing any work, you aren't going to reach success in anything. And if you are doing the work, then you're obviously a lot more likely to, and you very likely will. So I've never understood these types of people that are jealous of other people's success. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Look in a mirror and maybe realize, well, the reason I'm not successful in anything is because I've never done any work towards anything. You know what I mean? I've goofed around my whole life. I've done stupid shit my whole life. I've had fun my whole life. Whatever that means. 1, 2, 3. Let's have fun. 1, 2, 3. Let's have fun. It's like, I'm not saying don't have fun, but these people that think that life is like a big party, life is just about having fun all the time, and you're like a grown adult. People like that don't really understand life, and they don't really understand why other people become more successful than they do. It's because these other people put in more work into whatever it is they're trying to achieve in life. That's what it is, ultimately. It's about putting in work, guys. That's what this is about. I could respect a person who chose the mediocre route in life, and they just own it. They just accept it. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I chose the mediocre life, and that's just all I ever pursued, or I never pursued anything, rather. I kind of just got older and older and never pursued any kind of goals or aspirations of my own, and now my life is mediocre as a result. I work some job that I hate. I sit around and watch TV all day, every day. I'm lethargic. I'm not motivated. If you're that type of person, I can respect you as long as you own the fact that that is the route that you chose in life, and you may not have chose it directly, but you chose it unintentionally by not putting in any work into anything. And so if you're a person like that, I don't hate you. I don't think you're a bad person. You know what I mean? But at least own the fact and be honest that that is what you chose to do in life. You know what I mean? Just own it, right? And don't be jealous and envious and insecure about people who decided to actually pursue something in life and go for it and become successful as a result. Like, if you can give people props and respect other people for doing that, like give credit where credit is due. If someone becomes more successful than you in a particular area or whatever, not that it's a competition, but these people view it as such. If you can give a successful person props and at the same time not be jealous of them, and at the same time own the fact that you chose mediocrity, I can respect that. I can respect that totally fine. Like, for instance, if somebody that I knew goes on to achieve incredible things, potentially even more so than I think that's awesome. I support that person. I respect that person. I give that person the props where the props are due. I'm not sitting there being jealous of the person. Well, why did they do it and not me? I don't think about things like that. I want to see everyone win. You know what I mean? I don't want to see other people low. I want to see everyone win. I'm not one of these people who looks at the success of others and gets jealous of it. I'm just not that type of person. The ambitious life is not necessarily for everybody. I totally get that. That's totally fine, and I respect that 100%. But just own it. Don't be one of these people that chose the mediocre life and you're jealous of other people who became successful and you don't understand why you're not. That I cannot respect. I cannot respect a person like that. So just have the self-awareness to understand that if you did not pursue anything in life, you didn't do any work on yourself, you did no work into any kind of endeavor, any kind of particular industry or field or any kind of goal you may have had, if you didn't pursue anything, you did nothing. You just lived the cliche life, you lived the mediocre life, and you grew up and your life was just kind of average and whatever. That's totally fine with me, but just own that. Just own it, and don't be jealous of others, and don't sit there and pretend like you don't understand why someone else did become successful in a particular area. It's about work, guys. Life is about putting in work. Adult life is about putting in work into particular areas that you want to achieve success in and doing the work, and then the results speak for themselves. That's what happens, guys. Your life ultimately is a result of the amount of work that you have put into a particular area. And if you put in a lot of work, you'll get the results, guys. And if you don't, you won't get any results. That's just the reality. But people don't seem to understand. Like, there are a lot of people that I know and that I have known in the past where it's like they don't do anything at all. They sit around all day, like watch TV, just consume entertainment. They're just a consumer their whole life. They don't ever put in any work into anything at all. And they don't understand how other people are more successful than them. It's like, I can tell you why. The reason why is because you don't do shit. You know what I mean? You ain't about shit. And the other person is about something. That's the difference. One person is about something in life. The other person ain't about shit. So if you ain't about shit, you're not going to get any results. If you are about something, you're going to get results. That's just the truth. But people don't want to hear that, guys. So, and some people might say, well, hard work doesn't equal success necessarily. There are a lot of challenges today, and the world's not fair and all that kind of stuff. And there is some truth to that. However, I think that your level of success is a reflection of how much work you've done. I actually am of the opinion that hard work does equal success, or it at least can help. You know what I mean? At least helps. It's not like you're going to do all this work and you're going to have no results. It's if you're doing the work in whatever area it is, you will have results in that area far better than someone who is doing no work at all in an area. You know what I mean? So I actually do think hard work can equal success, especially in the United States. A lot of people will say, well, the American dream is dead and all this kind of stuff. And I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And I will say, yes, I do agree. The economy sucks today. Right now, there are a lot of unique challenges that in terms of launching your own life and in terms of achieving things. However, at some point, you got to take accountability. At some point, it's like you can't blame external factors for your own failure to pursue something. You know what I mean? You have to take accountability for your own situation in life. Take responsibility. Say, despite all these external factors that we can't control, what I can control is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? What I'm doing in life. I can at least control that, and how much work I'm putting in. So, to these people that say like, oh, the American dream is dead. You can't do anything in life. You'll never do anything. You'll never do anything. Well, if that's your mentality about it, well, yeah, you're never going to do anything, but if you're someone who takes accountability and says, whatever, I don't care about these external factors that I can't control. I don't care about the state of the world. I'm still going to do what I can do as an individual to achieve the things that I want to achieve, or at least try to do so, at least attempt to do something, at least try. And to me, if you're doing that, you really cannot fail. You really can't. You'll eventually do what you're going to do or achieve what you want to achieve if you're that motivated and dedicated and giving effort and trying to do it. At the end of the day, it's about effort. It's about effort, but a lot of people don't want to put in effort. The average American has pretty much no interest in putting in effort into like anything. There are some that do, and I respect those people, and I like to think I'm one of those people, and you're probably one of those people too listening. But the average American today, especially in my generation, especially Gen Z, this is definitely the case. Apathy and not giving a shit and not putting in any work into anything and not having interests of your own or goals of your own or aspirations of your own. That's like the norm, So if you're somebody who does pursue something and, as a result, you put in so much work and you start to become successful in an area, you're actually kind of the outcast. You really are, because people today are not doing that. At least people my age are certainly not doing that. And everybody's addicted to the cell phone. Everybody's addicted to social media. Everybody's like lethargic. So I do understand these things, but these are things that you as an individual have to overcome, in my opinion. So, and I'll say this too. A lot of people think, well, it's like, well, some people are born into worse situations than other people, so they have better opportunities to pursue success and things like that. And well, some people just have it better than others, so they have an advantage and all this kind of stuff. I think that's kind of a fair point, but I disagree. I think that it's your responsibility to do what you can do with the cards that you're dealt in life. We're all born into different circumstances, and we're all supposed to do what we can with the cards we're dealt, guys. A lot of times, some of the most successful people are people that came from nothing. You know what I mean? The rags to riches story, things like that. And success doesn't necessarily have to be just financially. Success can be whatever you think success is. But the point of what I'm saying is, if you're born into a lower financial situation, which a lot of us are, that is not really an excuse to say that you can't achieve anything. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the most successful people came from nothing themselves, and they put in a ton of work they were that dedicated. You know what I mean? And as a result of that work that they put in, the mindset they had, despite whatever life circumstance that God put them in, they were still able to achieve certain levels of success. So, this idea where it's like, well, I'm born into poverty or whatever the case may be, that just means that I'm screwed forever. I don't think so. I think it's about your mindset. You can make it if you really try in life. You can. Or at the very least, you have the opportunity to do so. It's about what you do with that opportunity. It's about what you do with your time in life, guys. That's what it's about. So, yes, we all are born into different financial circumstances. We all are born into different life situations. But at the end of the day, it's still on you, in my opinion, to achieve the things that you want to achieve with the cards that you're dealt. So that's kind of all I have to say, guys. If you're not putting in any work and you're not successful, you can't complain about not being successful. You know what I mean? You haven't done any work. Obviously, you're not successful. So success is not, it's not luck. You know what I mean? If someone gets results in an area and they do well in life in a particular area, it's not by accident. It's not lucky. You know what I mean? They did the work necessary, and a lot of times they did it behind closed doors. So you don't necessarily know the amount of work that someone has done in an area. That's why, I think that's why a lot of these people get jealous, is because all they see is the results. They don't see the amount of work and the amount of effort and the amount of dedication that someone has really given in an area. They don't see that necessarily. So that's why it can look like it was luck, but it's not, guys. Success is never luck. There's no such thing as luck. I mean, there may be some luck involved in life, but it's mostly how much work you've put in. That's really what it is. So, yeah, just have some self-awareness. If you chose the mediocre life and your life is, not really great, that's totally fine, but just be self-aware about it, own it, and don't be jealous of other people that decided to put more work in life than you did. Just don't, you can't be that type of person. It makes no sense to me. You cannot complain about not being successful yourself if you yourself have not put in any work in any area at all in life. It makes no sense. So that's the video, guys. My name is John. If you guys enjoyed this topic, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. I'm going to be doing more videos like this in the future. So thank you guys for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.